Hi, I'm going to preface this video with I tried streaming this game on my PlayStation because it was not originally working on my computer, and along with that, um, I thought I'd solved my mic issues with it, and even after unmuting my mic connected to my PlayStation, apparently the stream had muted me. I already cut like that first 10 minutes out, but there is a little bit before starting where you still can't hear me, but I don't think it'll matter too much because I started right before I do all the speaking lines essentially. So, um, the beginning's gonna be a little bit like silent, no voice, but uh, from then on out, there should only be one other technical issue, which was when the stream cut out. But you'll see now. So, anyways, thank you. Okay, there we go. I keep talking. Okay, this time it wasn't my fault. I just explained all of this. I I muted my mic for something earlier. I muted it because I was playing a multiplayer game and I watched my silly little videos while playing the game, so I didn't want them to hear my silly little videos. And then I realized, oh, my controller's still muted, so I unmute my controller. But apparently that didn't unmute the stream. I had to go and then unmute it through the stream thing on my PlayStation. I guess this is why people don't stream from their game stations, because they have to deal with crap like this versus when you're looking at OBS or any other recording software. You can just see if you're speaking or not. And I can't do that. Well, I guess I could have, but I didn't know. Like, yeah, it doesn't say I'm. This has been a whole kitten fiasco. But guess what? That opening, we didn't need to hear me. We really didn't need to hear me. Now we do. Now we do. We're starting again. We're taking our licks, and we're just going with it. Gosh, what a wonderful day. What a wonderful day. I will say the beginning of my day started out well. This has made me a bit infuriated between it not working on my computer and now it fudging up everywhere. But we roll with it. Panic, palms sweaty, I can admit it, I'm nervous. So everyone that was reading this before, we get to go through it again, but this time, I'm reading it. Good morning. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight? But wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise, is that your voice? I suppose it is to be expected. Your first trial and it's a homicide? I guess justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Chords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your screech. I overdid it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that drift. Like Tokyo. As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. Also, because I know you couldn't hear me before when, the music does go hard because all Ace Attorney game musics go hard. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. Today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Whoa. Good morning.
Morning. It's all up to you today.
First trial, nervous. Meeting him, cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help?
So you're...
Fine. I'm fine.
Ah, Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name.
Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney, and he's your friend. So why...
You'll see.
Huh?
You can do it. Be confident.
I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean,
It's time. Shall we?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're almost there. We're almost caught back up.
Okay, I need to focus. First trial, here comes justice.
Okay. Let's do this. We're back in here again. The court is now in session.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is up. Fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank? Don't panic. Ugh, too late.
Your name was Mr. Justice. This is your first trial.
Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine, really.
Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Mr. Gavin.
Yes, Your Honor.
I was under the impression that you would be heading up on this case.
That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. And my client specifically requested Mr. Justice.
Well, of course she wants justice. But to entrust this case to this greenhorn, why? Do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin.
Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience, fine. But does he have cords of steel?
And let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. Sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright.
If you haven't played the Ace Attorney games, the first ones, the Phoenix Wright Trilogy, this is bonkers that he's being accused for murder. Also, bonkers for him to be in this position and look like that. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? I'm gonna do his actual voice now. Just for the little snippet of hiding it. Because this is one thing I knew about the game. Like, that's something my friends told me. It's like the first thing is that Phoenix Wright is being tried for murder. Which is crazy after doing a whole trilogy about him. And then you get this game and it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened?
I won't speak of it further then. The prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne.
Did think I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains. God, I hate Max Payne. He's the worst. Oh, Winston Payne. Why did I said Max Payne? Because that's... that's the video game. Oh, Winston Payne. Settle as ever, I see. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him, wham, on the head, smack. Killed him cold.
Customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant? You say he was?
The pianist for the club, it seems.
Phoenix Wright, a pianist.
This is the weapon that took the victim's life. A bottle of grape juice. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice.
Court accepts the deadly bottle's evidence.
Deadly bottle added to the court record. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently.
Court record. Right. I've heard of that.
Press R1 to look at the evidence so far.
Christoph, what the fuck does that mean?
I'm confident in your ability to handle this.
Right. Just use R1? Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action.
So, the victim was a customer at this restaurant.
We should look at it. Doesn't hurt to look at anything. Ooh. There's a number inscribed on the back of the badge. There are many numbers like it.
But this one is mine. Proof that I'm an attorney. To tell the truth, I get happy feelings inside just looking at it.
Yeah. Generally that never comes into play. Time of death was around 2 a.m. April 17th. Death caused by a single blow to the forehead. Shady Smith? No, Shady Smith, probably. Based off how these game puns go. Cerebral hemorrhaging, blunt force trauma. Sub-basement at the Borscht Bowl Club. It's always good to look at your evidence before you get into everything. Just to get a good observation of everything. Wait. Grape juice bottle used as a murder weapon bears the defendant Mr. Wright's prints. Again, never a bad thing to look at everything.
No clues here.
Yeah, we might not be able to notice anything specific until later. Or the classic thing of, yep.
Grape juice. How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. Wonder how well it goes with borscht.
Okay, well, wait, I forgot. How do I swap tabs? Yes, Kristen Gavin, boss at Gavin Law Offices, first-rate defense attorney, trusted mentor, Phoenix Wright, pianist at the Borscht Bowl Club, formerly an ace defense attorney of some renown, Shady Smith, the victim in this case, a traveler only recently back in the country, Winston Payne, the prosecuting attorney. For all his experience, he lacks a certain presence. Damn, can't believe Phoenix Wright is only 33 in this.
So the victim was a customer at the restaurant. But just who was this Shady Smith fella?
We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor.
A traveler?
According to his passport, he'd been out of the country for a number of years. He'd only returned to this country through his place of residence is unclear. Though his place of residence is unclear.
And he had some sort of connection with the defendant.
That, too, is unclear, At present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime.
They'd only just met. Then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing.
That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least, not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean.
No, we're looking at it anyway. What the flick?
As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime.
Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself.
Rabble.
Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal.
It is true the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Here is only that, a game in the pure sense. A competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits. A silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome.
Come again?
The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress the women.
That will be our first order of business here then. find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime.
My pleasure. This is it. The first trial. Here goes nothing. I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers over to the poker table. The room where we play and the competition there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is, a game, and our customers are happy.
Venus, you can play piano.
Better defense attorney who can't defend.
Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination. Don't blow it.
Are you alright? You're sweating bullets.
Bullets? Where?
It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too.
My brain feels strained and raspy, sir.
Watched me perform cross-examinations many times. Though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher?
What to do? Should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher course in cross-examination?
Well, I say we do a refresher course because I, 1, haven't played on the PlayStation, and 2, for anyone watching that doesn't know.
Better safe than sorry, especially this early in the game. Yes, teach me. I know nothing.
Indeed, your job, Justice, is to be mindful of the court record and the testimony. Look for inconsistencies in the testimony with what the court record tells you. When you found an inconsistency, that's when you present the conflicting evidence from the court record with R1.
But I didn't hear anything strange at all in the testimony just now.
Good sign you need to press the witness with L1 for more information.
Press him?
Don't let the fact that he's a remarkable man hold you back. Get more information.
But isn't Mr. Wright my client?
Well, think you can do it?
Yes, thank you, sir. I think I can do it.
I think you'd better, or we're going to have a problem. Just remember, find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it.
Inconsistencies, lies? Phoenix Wright? As if. Phoenix Wright would never lie. It's up to me to prove it.
The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Alright. Let's freaking go. Okay. And there's our little health bar. That's the thing to do if we get too many things wrong. It will detach it from us. Pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play. I don't feel like pressing it because it doesn't seem pertinent. Real job is to take on interest because the room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. Game. I feel like the big things to press. I want to press this.
The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction. Has quite a history, actually. Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. Black market? All in the past. Things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room.
Smoky room gambling hoods, you know. Just looking at the picture makes me feel bad.
Bosses gather around the table, cutting deals safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, goons keep watch through a small window. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it could be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it's just all good, clean fun.
Okay, can press this one afterwards.
2 decks of cards. Simple measure to prevent cheating.
If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards.
There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there's some lying scattered on the floor.
Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor, each one forming a complete deck. Crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we used 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, the other blue.
As I recall in poker, you make 5 card hands. You can see how it would be easy to cheat.
Yes, game of hands. What the fuck does that mean? Oop, I didn't mean to place that. So, you claim you weren't gambling? That's right. Simply a game. Didn't bet any money. Not even a little? The only thing at stake in our game is pride itself.
Oh, well put, Mr. Wright. Got a mind to play a hand of poker myself. The stakes, your fate.
Can we get back to the trial now? Can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony. Isn't it a little early to be jumping to conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. You need more information. Don't forget to press. Right, I got it. Fine. I'm gonna listen to that testimony again. I feel like the big thing about the picture is that some of them... I think there's 2 things to notice about... Oh, wait. No, that actually doesn't help. Okay. Wait. I need to check something. There's a chair that is not in a normal position. Room where we play. It's competition. It's just simple. We play game of poker using 2 cards. That's it. All game. Okay. God, I wish I didn't have to go through all of this. Oh, there we go. Okay. We just gotta press everything. Check. You can hardly play. Oh, I play sometimes, when customers demand it. So I play them 1 song. That's usually all they want. Is that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is a mask. A respectable face I wear for the world at large.
And why are you really at the Borscht Boat Club?
Okay. We're gonna press this too. They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I am a professional after all. Do I detect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine. Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston. What? I've played poker for 7 years in that little room. And I've never lost once.
What?
You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even 1 time? God, I feel like I have... The voice is too close to Phoenix's, but I can't differentiate it enough. As I said, I'm a professional. I've played poker for 7 years now. Not lost once. Is that even possible?
It's competition you're talking about. The court understands the nature of the game sufficiently.
That's right. It was a simple game after all.
Are you sure?
Huh?
People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment of that crime occurred, yet you claim no connection to the crime.
Now that's strange.
What's strange?
I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Sir? Right. There's something I'd like to make clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand. And I'd like to hear it from you. Sure. Why not?
Very well, the defendant will amend his testimony.
Just 1 little press. And I've got myself a whole new testimony. Okay, I had to press... plead silence regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Wait, but he did. It says it has his fingerprints on it.
Objection!
Ooh. Oh, achievement. Opening objection. I love it. So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon, this grape juice bottle, right? So I said.
Something the matter? Oh. I think my steam has gone back to me.
Oh, the pending message for my thing. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure I'm getting my refund. Sorry about that. I am back. It was approved. So yippee for me.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice?
Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb.
The judge is easily, stupid.
And he's always like, I'm caught off guard. What is this, Mr. Payne?
I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints.
Objection!
No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine.
Excess yelling could damage the judge's ears and our case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant?
Well, that's true. Prints alone don't...
Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints.
Huh?
But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down.
Upside down? What does that mean?
It means he was holding the bottle inverted. And there can only be one reason for that.
Bonk. Big ol' bonk.
Yes. Yes, to brain someone with a bottle.
Ah! Why did his face turn into a turtle? Mr. Gavin, I think things are just taking a turn for worse. Oh? I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything. You'll see.
Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court record?
Stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now.
Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case.
I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Objection!
Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police?
Reported?
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright, but still that...
Really?
Yes. Well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone. Near the scene? Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we?
Diagrams. Fucking love diagrams.
The victim was murdered in the small room in a basement 2 floors from ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant.
I see. This is the phone that made the call.
Alright, right cell phone. Used by the defendant to notify the police from the restaurant's first floor. The defendant couldn't have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. I read that wrong. Defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he is being uncooperative? Thanks save, Mr. Gavin. I'd better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being.
Toyed? I assure you no one is more serious about...
What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment that the crime occurred. How can you possibly know this?
That's a good question. How indeed?
The answer is simple, Your Honor. Prosecution has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say you are. So someone else was in the room that night of the crime. That must mean they witnessed the crime.
Everything up until now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready?
Very well, the prosecution may call its first witness to the stand.
Okay, before we do that, let's double check this phone. See if we can... Oop!
Wow, the battery's being held in place with a piece of tape. You should just buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it. Or he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I think... Is that it? Is that the only thing on the phone? Yeah, this is the good thing about the new ones. Like, at least with the 3D stuff, when you look at an item, it lets you know, did you check everything out? And if you did you already check it? And it says we did.
Zoom in. Enhance.
Okay. Anyway. We did it. Decisive witness time.
The witness will state her name and profession.
Oh, hold on a moment. Where's the witness?
I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns. So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people.
Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off.
You are sure?
I swear it on my gavel. Please, come out.
Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor?
Well, if you're sure it's okay. Gods, I can't do... I mean, obviously Borscht, we're talking about Borscht. She's wearing more Russian-like clothing. I'm trying to do a kind of Russian accent, and I can't... Duh. If you are so sure...
Wait a minute. Will the prosecution care to explain the witness's, paraphernalia?
Yes. She is a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools of her trade.
And that would be?
My name is Olga Orly.
I am employed as waitress at the Borscht Bowl Club restaurant.
Then, why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to be serving borscht, that is, naming restaurant. But I also perform, how it is said, other service.
I take it one of those other services is taking the customer's pictures.
Like for example, this one.
I don't know what I'm doing with this voice, but we're going.
That's the defendant.
Indeed, on the night of the murder.
Man in white hat.
Is one who gone kaput.
Indeed, that is the victim.
How do you say Russia? We are trying to do something over here, but I feel like it's going to go into German, and I do not like that. But I'm very bad at doing these things.
Order. This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps.
It is the same way I drop cold bowls of borscht on laps of customers. Casually. I don't know what I'm doing.
And the court will casually accept this new evidence.
Olga's photo added to the court record. Okay, I want to look at it immediately.
Now, witness, where were you the time of the murder?
Okay. This is upstairs, though. Wait, that probably doesn't matter. I mean, they're obviously talking with one another, but this is upstairs. Okay, yeah. I was in room, the hideout we call it.
Excuse me, the hideout?
This room where famous gangster bad guy. I love the famous gangster bad guy. He is my favorite, most notorious gangster ever. Was arrested in room where murder took place.
What?
Your look of utter surprise. It is lovely. I will post by courtroom door later for you. Photos will be numbered and you will write which ones you want a copy of.
So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orley, our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means...
Very well. You will testify to the court about the night's events.
So here we go. I'm trying to go into it. I'm also trying to think of characters from movies that sound similar. I've been picturing an animated Russian woman, but I cannot think of name. That night, customer asked me to deal cards for game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on the locket to his neck. Then, last hand is done, but something terrible has happened. That man flew at the victim and is strangling him to death. Okay. We don't even need to press that statement. Like, we see the indiscrepancy there, I hope. And if not, you'll see the indiscrepancy.
Incidentally, who won the game?
Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
That's ridiculous. Because Mr. Wright can't lose. Justice. Maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection. But he hadn't lost in 7 years.
Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose my case my first 7 years as prosecutor either. Incidentally, I have some evidence here.
I don't believe that from Winston Payne.
These are the poker chips as they lay at the very moment of the crime. The hand and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. And on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
Chips, you say?
I mean, yes! I imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army and the chips are the spoils.
I know that. After all, in my youth I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3.
I think he means poker face.
Looking at this picture, it does seem the most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table.
Chips photo. Defendant and victim's chips when the crime took place.
Very well. Defendants may cross-examine the witness.
Before we do that, I feel like it's important to look at this. Okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's gotta be some discrepancy here, though. Or else we wouldn't have 2 photos. Right? It's one of those things where, like, I overlooked this for way too long, and it might not matter, but, like, maybe no, that's a grape. Maybe something will come up about the colors or something. Anyways. Okay, we're gonna cross-examine the witness, but immediately we're not gonna press anything, because we don't need to press anything. And if we do, I'll be upset. Yeah. Both players play with hats on. Victor, he plays the whole time with his hand on his locket on his neck. The last hand is done, but something terrible has happened, and is strangling him to death. Okay. Obviously, death caused by single blow to forehead. If this bites me in the ass, which it shouldn't, should be fine. Also, that's another tell. Here's the thing. Here's the tells in Ace Attorney games, at least for most of the missions. When you present something and they say objection and the music cuts out, that means you're right. It means you're right. And that's how I get cocky and confident. But also, that was a blatant thing because we looked at the error. It said blunt force trauma, like cerebral hemorrhaging, and she's saying choke to death. Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's good. Or odd, not good. Ooh. Duh. Normal customers only choke on borscht. No, I mean, the reports show that the victim died of a blow to the head. Miss Orley, really now? Did you witness the crime? Eek! Damn, that was good. Damn. Why is she working there?
Looking at the picture, doesn't seem he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything.
Yet, it is in fact he was hit, Your Honor. Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during the investigation.
Well, it's quite shocking, isn't it? His head certainly was hit.
Crime photo 2 added to the court record. Photo 4 hat removed during investigation. But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at the victim, his neck. You know who I may be thinking of? The sexy agent lady from Destroy All Humans 2. That's probably who I was trying to figure out. I know that's a deep cut. Because I feel like it's not a super popular game. It did get a remaster recently. And it was, definitely changed some stuff I didn't like, but also it was pretty cool and I liked it. The defendant, he lunged at victim, his neck. Oh really, Miss Orley? I think I've caught you in your own line this time. Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. But what do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me.
Very well. Seems we should continue the cross-examination.
Such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it.
There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too. At night, the customer asked me to deal cards for game. Oh yeah, okay, we're back. So obviously he's saying there's something weird that happened in the testimony that we should be paying attention to more. That, at least... After defendant tried to strangle victim, he hit him with bottle. I feel like that's not pointless. But he said there's something more important to point out. I think it's this. Because she says last hand is done, but something terrible has happened. Does she mean what then happens after that? Or what?
Something terrible?
The French will refrain from needless shouting.
Sorry. I need to seriously reconsider this vocal training thing. Now, Miss Orley, can you tell us what happened?
Oh, I was so frightened. I trembled with fear. Okay. Okay, no, it was a simple thing. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button.
Say anything about hitting before.
Sorry, I must be forgetting this,
Wait, Dash. Take greater care with your testimony.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
And that clears up the discrepancy with the autopsy reports, I believe. The defendant made to strangle victim then changed his mind and chose a simpler, blunter means to do the job. Yes, this sums it up nicely.
So he strangled him, then hit him. Something's fishy about all this. Go ahead. I believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir. Leave it to me. There were only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and... Mr. Wright isn't the killer. I've got you now, Worley. Okay. Customer asked for me to deal cards at game. Is cold. Both players had hats on. Da. Victim, he plays whole time with hand. Lock it on that. I don't want to present anything yet, but I just want to look at crime photo 2. Wait. Why does... Oh my god. Oh my god. Because I was like, yeah, Phoenix, but we should double check. Why does Phoenix have his locket? Oh. I love juicy details. His locket? I believe it was good luck charm, duh. He gripped it many times as he played that night.
Yeah, she must have felt as though it might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it was small enough to fit around his neck, wouldn't have much lift.
The defense would like a clarification. What is this locket we're talking about? I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket?
Of course, I knew that. It's probably a pendant shaped like a... It was probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that.
No, a locket... It's considered bad form to poke fun at the hard of hearing in our society. Hard of hearing or hard of understanding. So what happened next? Okay. I want to present evidence for this to be like... And what does playing with hats on mean? Just like... I don't... We're gonna press them just in case before I do something stupid. You're dealing cards. Do you do this often? Duh, I am doing this. If customer wishes it, I serve anything. Borscht, cards, more borscht. It is my work.
It's good to hear a place hasn't forgotten the meaning of service.
Welcome to Borscht Bowl Club, where borscht is warm as waitress. Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. Cold, both players, board cuts. Da. Wait! I might be stupid, but if he was hit on the head, and he was wearing a hat, I don't know. That seems sus. It's already April. How could it be cold? At Borscht Bowl Club, we have pride in authentic rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside it's city in spring, but inside it was always as cold as Mother Russia. No way am I going there. When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning, duh. Okay. I say... Damn it! I didn't mean to do that! I didn't mean to do that! I didn't mean to do that! Get out of here, 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 get out of here. I gotta get used. Okay, R1. But hitting him on the head, wouldn't the hat have dented? Like, he's bonked on the head, bleeding, goes through the back. Would his head not have an indentation? Like, I don't know if I'm pointing at something that's wrong or not. Like, I'm noticing the locket thing, but I don't think there's a way... But that's not a contradiction. So, like, for this, we can't throw in a contradiction of something that's like... Because before, like, we saw Phoenix wearing the locket. And then in the pictures, Shady is wearing the locket. But there's no way to contradict that. This is what I think is weird. I could be wrong, but this is what I think is weird. Just because, like... I think she thought strangulation was the cause of death. So then she hits him on the head, puts the hat back on, and makes it seem not sus. But, like, I don't know. I could be wrong. Objection! Okay, I am wrong. This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in your statement, Your Honor. How exactly are the evidence in the statement just now related? They aren't, are they?
Nope, not at all, Mr. Justice. Please think the facts over before making accusations.
I think that won me any points with the judge. Okay. What am I missing? What am I missing? What are we missing? Maybe... Again, I could get this wrong. I'm gonna... Objection! Okay. I don't know what I'm doing then. I pressed everything. What am I missing? What am I missing? I shouldn't be... The tutorial should not be this difficult, so it's definitely probably a me problem. Okay, go ahead. I believe you know what is right, sir. Leave it to me. There were only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith first. Okay, what did I miss? What did I miss? Hold it! You were dealing cards. You do this often, I'm doing this because Borscht cards, more Borscht. It's my work. Okay. His locket. I believe it was good luck charm. Okay. Okay. Something terrible. Okay. What am I missing? Because nothing else is coming out of these. I don't think this statement... I don't think anything can happen with a statement anymore. Because normally in the game, once you... Like, the statement has changed, but it's more of like, she fixed it. Okay, I'm just doing this again just to, like, double check. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I know I'm supposed to present something. It was cold. They both played with hats on. Like, cause the crime photo means nothing, right? Olga's photo, Chip's photo. I don't know why I'm lost here, and I don't know necessarily what to do. Am I dumb? Am I overthinking everything? What is simple? cold. Both players wore hats. There's no way to prove that it wasn't cold, right? Bottle's completely empty. Cool. Wait. Bottle's completely empty. Why is the bottle completely empty? What am I missing? Am I stupid? I mean, probably, but... The cap is off. Why is the cap off there? Is the cap off here? The cap's off there, too. Wait, okay. The cap is off in both of these. But the cap is on here. And it's... Okay. I don't know what just happened. I think the internet went out real bad. And it did not get brought back until now. But I think... I got it. Okay. The only other thing I could see is like, okay. Now, I tried to show it's like, oh. But I think what we were supposed to do is we look at this photo and be like, he's wearing the necklace. Yet in this photo, he is not wearing the necklace. To more show we know who had the necklace. But I think that's stupid because it's like I think I was overthinking it, but I wasn't like putting the correct steps. Okay, there we go. Also, I'm very annoyed that my Twitch decided to well, my Twitch didn't freak out, the whole internet thing freaked out. I'm gonna have to fix it later. When I edit it. You know, there's only one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean?
Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about?
Recall, Your Honor. Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on the locket at his neck, I believe she said. Oh, did she specifically say victim? Ugh. I didn't pay attention to that. I hope you aren't about... Okay. If that's what it was... Oh, it did say the victim. Okay, so maybe I just wasn't reading. Maybe I'm bad at reading. I hope you aren't about to raise an objection on the witness's grammar. No, but look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean?
Well, if we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death.
Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. The locket is gone. Someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it?
Ah! Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say.
Yes?
I just noticed this. But you have something hanging around your neck, don't you?
Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. Photo of my daughter. Come again?
Mr. Wright, you have a daughter?
We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter.
So, Mr. Wright has a locket too? Why don't I buy that it's just a coincidence?
Well now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost, badly.
Miss Orley, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant.
Da-da. Da-da. Witness testimony. The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who is winning, it was the victim. For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment the loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Indeed, looking at this picture, seems to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
Ah, how many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor. Now I regret what I've done. Common tale, but true.
He thinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. Game begin. I want to press that. Or maybe I need to press the second statement. Are there unusual starting points? Are those unusual starting points? Were there any special rules used? No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be, exactly 7,000 points.
Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, it was the victim. Oh wait, okay. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Of course. Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? Yes. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips. Explain? What is there to be explained?
Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fishing chips, not a chip off the old block, not a motorcycle cover.
Thanks. Now that I pressed her, I'd better ask her something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even? Yet, as I've been saying before, it was a game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. Two types of chip, 100 chip and 1,000 points chip. It is not money, Justice. Sir? Don't you find her comment interesting? More ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to a testimony myself.
Well, what does the bench add to testimony, yes?
Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. Wish I knew where I was going with this.
Very well, witness, if you'd be so kind.
To die, Your Honor. One kind of chip is worth 100, other kind is worth 1,000. Two kinds in all. Who was winning, it was victim. Now, here's the big thing. We'll look at this. Now, if we do the math, the big chips, there's too many big chips to be worth 1,000, because we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's already too many. But you do the little red ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the other ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's the perfect amount. But now, here's the rub. What do we press it on? Do we do like... Because like, I feel like this gives further explanation. But if I say one who's... You're telling me Mr. Wright, undefeated for 7 years, was losing. Duh, it must have been the most unlucky day for him. I'm glad I did not take other picture of him. It would break camera, certainly. These chips, they went always to victims' side of the table.
So you're telling us it was a one-sided game?
Duh, one-sided and... Okay. I'm gonna... Objection! Yes! Okay, adding it to the statement flew everything together. You sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure.
It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture here is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten...
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court?
Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course. Duh.
Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points.
Yes, if my calculations are correct. See, 3 plus 1 carry the 5.
They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, you add them up.
How much is it?
Do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. Uh-oh. 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 Uh-oh.
But why? How could this be?
Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right. There's only one possible way to explain the contradiction. Wait. Chips don't add up, but... Wait. Starting points were wrong. Chip count was wrong. Or... No, both were right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer.
Well, what is it?
The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness. Utter madness.
Show me that photograph of the chips again. There's 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, it does make 7,000 points when you add them up.
Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait! The value of those chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
Indeed, the victim did have the large number of chips still. Ah!
Exactly. The small chips are 1,000 points, and the large chips are 100. Let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table.
Victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points, and the defendant had 4,100.
Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible.
My client had even less of a reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning.
Yeah!
Now, Miss Orley, You must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Weren't you?
Eek.
Why she got lobster, though? That's what I want to know.
Order, order. It appears our defendant's lost his motive. Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust the... Oop. Excuse me. What is it, Miss Orley?
I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see,
See what, Miss Orley? What do we see?
in the last hand, there was cheat.
A cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, or do you mean a scam?
They're all the same thing. Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we had lying, now cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn. For the interesting.
Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand.
Okay. Let's see what she has to say. I mean, we can't really believe her. The last hand, both men had full house. There's 4 of each card in deck, from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith.
Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the beginning?
I thought I smelled the cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers.
Full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience.
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics.
Mr. Gavin?
What's a full house? Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker.
Can't say this bodes well for your case, or career.
What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice. You know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes?
Yeah, no problem.
2 cards with the same number makes a pair, 3 makes 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house.
That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it? You can see each player's hand in this photo. Wow, they both have full houses. We forget there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
The bench may cross-examine the witness.
If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man when losing when they cheat? Yeah. That's a great question. Last hand, both men had full house. I want to... Now in this photo, I feel like it might not really show us anything. I see a 4, a 5, a 6. I think there's an ace down there. Like if you see, it looks like a little 1. I know there's like really no way to point at it, but it's right underneath the table. Looks like there's another ace down there. I don't know if we can see it here. No, we can't. But I feel like that's what it would be. But they're playing with 2 decks of cards, so... Okay. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious.
How was it clear?
Well, the defendant, he played the 5th ace.
A 5th ace?
I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hands had 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's 2.
Obviously cheating was afoot. Or perhaps I should say, a hand.
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke.
Very well, the witness will add this detail to her testimony, please.
We got her now. It's 5 aces in all. But what about that? What about that? There's only 4 aces. Okay, I thought there was an ace on the floor. But maybe that ace on the floor is still poignant. It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name... Look at this piece of evidence. Clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony.
That's photo of the chips, is it not?
Justice, perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point.
Yes, please, point out the contradiction in this photo. What particular point contradicts the witness' testimony?
This? Oh, I gotta press. Miss Orley, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's this 5th ace? I see cheating alright. And it's going right here, and it's going on right here in this courtroom.
2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It is true, I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere all day. You're right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards.
The cards?
Mr. Payne.
Yes?
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request the cards be shown to the court.
Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards?
These cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? I mean, it would be the victim's, right? It was in the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards.
Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would.
Very well.
Received evidence, victim's hand. Well, time's a-wasting. Get to it, Justice. Yes, sir. Okay. When examining I already did this, but then again, I know how to do it. Examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using R, 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 and R to turn it every which way, and triangle and square to zoom in and out. That should give you a better perspective of the cage. Okay. That doesn't really make any sense. I mean, I can just turn them in my hands. Well, let's do it anyway. Okay. I knew it! I knew it! They were playing with the red deck. Or... What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color.
Eh? Ah!
That is impossible. But I put that card in the right hand. What was that, Miss Orley? No, niet. I merely said, I have... Your Honor.
Mr. Gavin, yes.
Tell me, what's the easiest way to cheat at poker?
To cheat?
I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend. A comrade, shall we say. The dealer.
Ah!
Wait, so you mean... this witness, Miss Orley? She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. Yeah.
Order.
Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her mistake. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard.
That's impossible. But I put that card in right hand.
Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Ooh. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim.
Ah! Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley, are you?
Time for justice. There were 3 people in that room at the time of the incident. If Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am.
You're guilty, Apollo? You weren't even there!
The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. Eek!
Oh my god, she died. But now we have to prove it.
Mr. Payne, where's your witness, Miss Olga Orley?
It appears she has lost her consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice.
Your Honor?
Seems you presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and victim, Mr. Smith.
That means?
This court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What? I did it. I held out.
I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. Prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant's viewing now? Think, when the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means? But what are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous.
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of these things. Let's clear up the facts about the game of that fateful night.
As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night. That was said before. The 2 decks of the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. You used different colors and they still got mixed up. We used red deck for the last game.
I see. That's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever. In the end, 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix, which means there was cheating. Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. The last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. Could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped. Oh? It might be simple as you think, Miss Payne, or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped?
I mean... my gut says after. I don't think it would be before. Because that'd be weird. But then during the murder? I don't think that'd be right. I feel like... well, weren't they swapped during the murder?
During the murder? Tell me, exactly when is that?
Well, very moment of the act, I guess. Could that be the moment the cards were shown? Perhaps the moment when the cheater was revealed.
Perhaps the very moment the bottle came down on Mr. Smith's head.
Could I have a moment?
That moment could cost you this case.
Sorry, let me rethink this. I thought it was gonna be too obvious. Perhaps it happened after the murder?
What's that? Ridiculous. What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly.
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh? Even when the backs of the cards are a different color? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time.
Ah!
Quite true. I thought it would be too obvious, I don't know. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us.
There's another.
Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and the murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room, alive that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue card? Why, it must have been Olga Orley who swapped the cards. She was trying to cover evidence of the cheating.
That does make sense.
Sorry, but there's a problem with that explanation. Huh? Swap card was from the wrong deck.
Yes, a blue card was stuck into the red hand.
Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors? Remember that you're talking about Olga Orley. She was the dealer. Do you really think she would make such a novice mistake? Actually, I have trouble imagining even the judge making that mistake. Give it a little more thought, Apollo. Right. I mean, but Phoenix wouldn't do that either, right? The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orley either.
What are you suggesting?
It's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orley at this point. Yes, I know, but she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. I know he put the thought of the blue cards in our head. But did he do... What the fuck? What is going on?
And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious.
Heh.
Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright.
Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun all this is.
Fun? How about confusing? I've no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one was swapped card wasn't the defendant and wasn't Miss Orley, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see the case take a new direction.
New direction?
We'll find that indeed after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. That someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us the first was swapping the wrong colored card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know two colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right. This person replaced the fifth ace with a king. Sure, whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All they knew is that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True, not until now. We have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. No, it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
The trial has proceeded on one central assumption, namely that at the time of the incident,
There's only 3 people in that room. I believe new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption.
Problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court.
I suppose that is a problem, yes.
Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, see you in my chambers during this recess.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Very well. The trial will resume in 20 minutes.
Okay. I really want to get through this first case, but like after all these little like hiccups, I'm very worried if we'll be able to finish it. Like I'm mainly just annoyed. I'm feeling a bit tired. And I think maybe the best thing to do, especially after all this whatever stuff, all the little hiccups for today, I think I'm done. I want to play more of this. I will play more of this, and I also got to finish Your Turn to Die. So I'm going to try to be going between those in some way. But, I'm sure the VOD of this I upload on YouTube will be much smoother and nicer because I will have not my hiccups in it. And if I do, I cut them out or voice over them to make sure everything is understood what's going on. So anyway, thank you for people that watch this video, that watch the stream tonight, that watch the video later. Good night, good morning, and goodbye.